This year's Commonwealth Games at Birmingham have finally concluded, and it's not controversial to say that it's been one of the best displays of athletic ability in a long while. Jake Jarman's success alone was enough to keep viewers engrossed, achieving a Games first when he claimed his fourth gymnastic gold medal. He's made Games history, and we'll be covering the story and much more in today's video. First up, Jarman does the impossible. At only 20 years of age, Jake Jarman recently pulled off something at the Commonwealth Games that no one before him has. We'll get to that, but first you should know that this is his first ever senior championship, and he still managed to beat experienced gymnasts at events to get his hands on gold. Now, that's amazing in itself, but what's crazier is the fact that he did this 4 times. That's right, Jake, a 20-year-old first-timer, managed to win not just 1, not 2, but a whopping 4 gold medals at the Games. He took home gold in the vault, the team, floor, and all-around events. That makes him the most successful male gymnast at any single Commonwealth Games ever, and he might just owe that success to a single vault, the Yonakura. The Yonakura is considered one of the most difficult vaults in gymnastics. It's a whirlwind of 3.5 twists that few have even thought of mastering, but Jarman is clearly made of different stuff, and master it he did. It was the greatest weapon in his arsenal, and he demonstrated it easily when he first did his routine at the team finals. It put a huge spotlight on him the first time, but he wasn't quite done yet. He pulled it off once more in the men's all-around final, putting him well past the other competitors. His last great demonstration of this rare and beautiful move came on the last day of gymnastics events, when he pulled off the Yonakura at the vault finals. That gave him his 4th medal and all the honor that came with it. He had surpassed the previous momentous achievement of 3 gold medals by both Max Whitlock and Claudia Fragapani in 2014. Next, Jarman's competition. Though he might have pulled off a spectacular and beautifully rare move 3 times throughout his 5 days at the Games, Jarman still had some stiff competition. He finished the vault finals with a total score of 14.916. His fellow Englishman, Gianni Regini Moran, had scored a 14.633, close to Jarman, but still short enough to relegate him to a silver medal. Third place went to the Australian, James Baquetti, who scored a total of 14.283 points. Apart from the people competing against him in his events, he also had to contend with gymnasts that were vying for the honor that came with earning 4 gold medals in the Games. Joe Frazier was one that came eerily close to sharing the glory with Jarman. Frazier, another England native, had already won gold in the pommel, team, and parallel bars events, and he had one final event to go, the horizontal bars. Unfortunately, he stumbled at this final test, falling off the bars. He did, however, get back up and finish his routine, coming in 7th in the event. Though he fell at his final event, Frazier still told interviewers that his experience at Birmingham 2022 was one of his proudest moments to date, as he got to demonstrate his abilities in front of his hometown and crowd. When asked about Jarman, Frazier had nothing but praise to shower on the young gymnast, calling him the Wonder Kid and saying that he's the future of the sport. Frazier added that he was only just beginning and he has so much more potential to realize. Lastly, the routine that topped. Jarman didn't just jump straight into things with his best tool, of course. His vault final began with something challenging and amazing to watch, but that could still be outshone to the end with a bang. It was the iconic Dragulescu move, which has a point value of 5.6. For reference, the Yonakura has a point value of 6.0. The reason why the Dragulescu is so highly rated is because it consists of a double front somersault with a half turn. He landed that with only a small step back. That was already a ridiculous display of skill, as the Dragulescu is normally considered the most difficult vault move. But Jarman wasn't done. He returned to try his hand at the Yonakura at the vault stage. As you know, he pulled it off, with only a small step to the side out of bounds. There were only 2 other gymnasts that pulled off vaults of equal difficulty in the finals, but Jarman, of course, reigned supreme. After the honors were bestowed on him, he finally got a chance to talk about the experience to interviewers. He said that he was over the moon and that he was delighted to be able to be part of the event and come out with the result he did. He also said that competing in competitions like this are always challenging, no matter how well you do. Regardless of the size of the competition, you need to give it your all. That attitude is no doubt what's allowed Jarman to become such a high-level gymnast. Now, in other news, first up, 10 Sri Lankan athletes disappeared. Sri Lanka has recently been plagued by an economic crisis, as well as political upheaval. It's an unfortunate situation that's turned many lives upside down. It might be no surprise then that 10 Sri Lankans from the country's Commonwealth Games contingent contingent have gone missing following their respective events. The 10 individuals include 9 athletes and a manager from the group of over 160 individuals. 3 of the 7 had disappeared early in August, which were Jukota Camilla Delani, her manager Acela da Silva, and wrestler Shanith Chaturanga. 7 more disappeared a week later, though their identities have not yet been made public. Officials reported that they suspect they wish to remain in the UK to potentially seek out employment. The Sri Lankan team's management had tried to safeguard against such desertions by withholding the passports of all members. That clearly didn't deter everyone from doing so. What's more interesting about the situation is that the British police had actually located the first 3 missing persons, but since they hadn't violated local laws and possessed passports valid up to 6 months, they had to be released. They also pushed the Sri Lankan management team to release the withheld passports back to the formerly missing team members. Next, Stirling athletes break records. Athletes from the University of Stirling have returned home from the Commonwealth Games this year with a record-breaking medal haul. The total number of medals pulled in this year by the university's athletes is a whopping 16. Duncan Scott, a Scottish Stirling swimmer, became not only a record breaker for the university, but also for the entire Commonwealth. Over the course of 3 games, including this one, he's accumulated a record-breaking 13 medals. Just under half of those, 6 in fact, were won at Birmingham this year. 2 were gold, while 4 were bronze. If he wasn't a swimming sensation before, he certainly is now. Other athletes in the water that had the spotlight on them were Ross Murdoch, who brought home 3 bronze medals, and Stefan Milne, who brought home 2. A standout was Cameron Curl, who won the team's sole silver medal. Lastly, Canada goes further than ever. This year at Birmingham, Canada has gone further than they ever have before in every event. They entered the competition with the aim of being in the top 3 in terms of overall points, and they succeeded tremendously, pulling in a total of 92 medals by the end of the games. The final medal atop the pile by the last day of the competition was Michelle Lee's badminton silver medal. Not a bad finish at all. They might not have managed to garner as many medals as the Titans of Australia and England, which had raked in more than 150 each. However, they did manage to beat 4th place by more than 30 medals. This year was one of the first for Canada. It saw Holly Naughton become the first Canadian to ever reach a podium position for squash when she managed to win a silver medal. This year also saw Canada win 10 more medals than it had previously in England back in 2018. Of the 92 medals that they had won, an amazing 26 of them were golden. That's crazy, especially when you consider that's 11 more than they had won 4 years prior. 7 of those 26 gold medals had been won by swimmers. One of the youngest members on the Canadian team, Summer McIntosh, at just 15 years old, served as a beacon for the entire Canadian team, appearing not once, but a total of 6 times on podiums to be honored with medals. She had won 2 gold, 3 silver, and 1 bronze medal in total. That's a wrap for this video. Were you in awe of Jarman's routine? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.